Hey guys, it's Sarah with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we have a review and install of the PowerStop Performance front brake calipers in red, fitting your 05 and newer Toyota Tacomas. So this is perfect for the Tacoma owner who's looking to replace their brake calipers and wants a style upgrade as well. These front calipers were designed for street, towing, and hauling applications. This kit includes the caliper as well as stainless steel bleeder screws, pins, and clips. These calipers feature red powder coat for corrosion resistance as well as a nice style upgrade and include EPDM rubber seals that are pressure tested for leak-free operation. So as far as price goes, these front calipers come in at around $200, making them a great way to replace your front calipers while adding some style to your Tacoma. I'm giving this install a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. They feature direct bolt-up installation and can be done within 2 hours. So with that said, let's jump right into our install. For this install, you will need impact guns or a ratchet, a swiveling 17mm socket, a 12mm socket, a 10mm wrench, an 8mm wrench, a caliper hanger tool or a bungee cord, and a clamp for the brake line. All right, so the first step in our uninstall is we need to remove the brake pads before we remove our caliper, and to do that, you start by removing the metal retainer at the back of the caliper. Starting with this metal clip, remove it from the top pin. You can use a needle nose if it doesn't want to come out. And then remove it from the bottom as well. Go ahead and twist it like this and remove it from your caliper. So these tend to be difficult, so if they don't want to push out easily, you can come in back here with a pin just to push this through. And we might still need to do that if this doesn't. Repeat that with the top one. And again, if it doesn't want to come out, you can use a punch and just push it out gently. At this point, you can pull out your brake pads. If they don't want to come out, you can push back on these ears here, which are just going to push the pistons in a little bit, just enough to wiggle them out. Next up, we're going to gently clamp this brake line. Now, if you don't want to do this, you do not have to. The only thing that's going to happen if you don't is a whole bunch more brake fluid. It's going to go everywhere. But if you just gently clamp down on this, it shouldn't damage that line. And it should really reduce the amount of brake fluid that comes out. Now you can take a 10mm wrench and crack this fitting into the back of your caliper loose. Just make it a little easier to get it off in a minute. Have your hanger ready, or you can use a bungee cord if you don't have one, and get your new caliper ready as well, because as soon as this line comes off, we're going to attach it to our new caliper. Grab a 12mm socket and remove the bolt holding on this part of the brake line. At this point, you can remove this fitting from the back of the caliper. Remove the plastic piece out of the back of your new caliper. Grab your brake line and thread it into the new caliper. Now you can grab your 10mm, tighten it down. And hang the caliper out of the way for the time being. At this point, we can remove the caliper. Grab a 17mm socket, you may want to swivel, and remove the lower bolt. Grab your 17mm socket and remove the upper bolt on your caliper. Now you can remove your caliper. At this point, you can grab the new caliper, remove it from the hanger, and get it bolted back up. Now you can grab your 17mm socket and tighten these down. All right, at this point you can replace your brake pads, or you can install new ones if you do have them. Now just keep in mind that if the brake pads are newer, they might be a little fatter and you may need to push in the pistons in order to get them to clear. At this point you can reinstall the pad spreader. The top of these pins go in a hole in the brake pad, and then just tuck it in right along here. Then your pin is gonna pass through the bottom. They did include new pins, so we're gonna use these, and this might be a good time to put some anti-seize on here and make sure that you prepare ahead of time to do your brakes down the road. And instead of that large pin on the back here, they've included these cotter pins. So we're gonna install these instead. At this point, you can replace the brake line bracket. Then grab your 12mm socket and tighten it down. Remove the clamp on your brake line. All right, so you may want a friend for this step. You're gonna want someone to be pumping the brakes and holding them while you bleed it. You also wanna keep an eye on the level in your master cylinder. Have your friend pump the brakes. Once your friend is holding the brakes, crack the bleeder loose. And close again. Repeat that process until the fluid that comes out is clear and free of any bubbles. Once you've completely bled the system, replace this cap. Now once you're done with the install, repeat the process on the other side and then we will bleed the system. Make sure your master cylinder is topped off when you're bleeding it. Before you bleed the brakes, make sure you pump them up. And then you hold it when you crack open the caliper. All right, so that is gonna do it for the review and install of these brake calipers. Remember, for all things Tacoma, keep it at ExtremeTerrain.com.